Right, so we are building an application for a phone. So most of the times with a phone, we get a nav component, right? Some nav layout right here at the top. So just like we do for React for Web, we have access to create new components and include them as children of other components. So I'm going to go to my root directory. And of course, again, in real life, you will not toss all your files on the root directory. That's just not the way it works. So I'm going to add a folder called src. You could call it whatever you want. You know, by standards, it's the src. That's the convention. And I'm going to create a new file called nav. You know, something that makes sense. So of course, you can create class-based components, and you can still create a stateless component. You know, just a function. You can just return a function with some JSX. I'm going to import pretty much this we have at the top. I don't want to, start typing the same code over and over. I don't want to make you lose time. I'm gonna create just a stateless component called nav, and I'm gonna return some JSX, right? Okay. We always need to return a view, content wrapped in a view, and in this case, I'm just gonna return some text, right? Just some text, some dumb text saying my app. Now, of course, I want to add some styles, and we need to export default the nav. And since we are using style sheets create at the top, I'm gonna do pretty much the same. I'm gonna do style, style equals. We're gonna bring that style sheet and then dot create, open and close, and we're gonna pass some style links. So mine, it's gonna be called nav. I'm gonna add maybe a background color or something that pops out. I'm going to align the items, and I'm going to tell you something right now. Let me just finish with this. Align items, center. So notice that I'm not adding flex to this component, right? I'm going to include the nav inside of the main component, and this one has flex. So if I do align items, it's going to grab everything and align to the center like we have right here. So in that case, it will inherit the flex. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to maybe add some padding, maybe padding top of 10, and I'm still going to do width of 100%. All right. So of course, if I save this, nothing is going to really happen, and we are getting an error message. Let me just go back to the application. It says text strings must be rendered within a text component. Maybe I made a mistake with this. Oh, it's because of this, of course. Let me just reload it, and okay, of course, now we get nothing. So now we want to add the styles. So I'm going to say styles, open and close, and we make style, actually it's styles, that, and then nav. So what I want to do again, I want to include the nav component inside of this. So again, we will just do the same thing we will do for React for Web. So import nav from // we go to the src, we bring the nav, and then we just make a reference to nav. Now, I'm not sure if I've told you this. At the end of the course, you have a tiny optional section where I give you some basic knowledge about React for Web. And to be honest, if you know React for Web, we got the 50% or 60% of the course covered. It's that's the way it works. So if I reload the application, we cannot find variable styles. It's because I made a mistake. I'm gonna reload it again, and there we go. We are getting the header. That's the way it works. So let me reload it on Android, and we get it. Now again, just like React for Web, we get access to pass props and of course state. So if I go to the main app and I say I want a state, and this state is going to give me the name of the app. So name of app. And I'm going to call it, my awesome app, something dumb. And of course, again, we can still pass things as props. So I'm going to say that this one will pass the name of props, and it's inside that state, that name of the app. So right on the children, again, we can make a reference to this. We will receive some props, so we still need to pass the props and say props.name. And of course, we're going to get the name of the app, my awesome app. So again, a lot of the rules are the same we get for React for Web. All right, since we are working with the phone, right, with an application, most of the times we need to add buttons and trigger some actions, right? The user is gonna tap on a button or something, and then we will do something. So I'm gonna add just one file, and I'm gonna call it, I don't know, generator. So every time we type on this component, this generator.js, we want to do something. So first, I'm gonna import what we need. I'm gonna say generator, and I'm gonna create maybe just a stateless component. So const generate equals open and close, and then we just gonna do something, and we return some JSX. That's okay. That's okay for now. I'm gonna be returning just a view, usual stuff. Maybe add some text, and this text is gonna say add number. All right. So whenever we click on this, we're gonna do something. I'm gonna change. We do some inline color, and I'm gonna change the color to FFF to something white, and I'm gonna give some styles to the parent. And this is something that you will need to do pretty much the whole time. Just create the component and add some stylings to this. It's pretty common. So styles. I don't want to type everything again, so I'm gonna copy this from here, gonna paste it at the bottom, gonna change the generate so we can export that, and I'm gonna give some stylings to the main wrapper of generate. So I'm gonna maybe change the background color to something else. Let's say, I don't know, 00BCD4. All right. I'm gonna leave the padding, the width, and I'm gonna align items to the center. I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing. Sorry. All right, comma, I'm gonna go here, and everything's ready. So now I'm gonna go back to the app and import that generate, or we can call it generator, from .source.generator. All right. Now, of course, what I want to do, I want to include this, right? And every time we click or we tap in real life on that generator, I want to trigger some action. So I'm gonna put it right here at the bottom. I'm gonna put it here, generator. So if we reload the application, of course, we get this, and every time we add the number, we want to do something. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so I know React for Web, so I know what I got to do right here. We're gonna go to the generator and add an on click right here. So what React Native, this is not the way. Every time you want to add or do something, or add a new component or something that has a very specific behavior, you will need to bring a component from React Native. So we cannot really do it with Vue. We need to import a component called button to do touch events. And it kind of makes sense. With the iOS or just Android, most of the times you get a button that it's always the same. It's the default and native element for a button. So, we need to bring a button. That button will be translated to whatever button the application, the phone uses, and we're going to be able to do an on click, or actually on touch. All right, that's good. Let's go to the next section and convert this this view to something we can touch and do something.